I'm sorry, I feel like my channel is like ASMR dog noises every week. Good morning, book dragons. Welcome back to another reading vlog. I think from now on, this will be my last week of doing a weekly reading vlog. I think I'm just going to do a weekend one from now on, or my weekend. I've noticed that I'll vlog like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I don't vlog the whole weekend until like Monday to wrap up. So I'm just gonna do that from now on. I have some awesome buddy reads that I'm working on. So I was reading Blood of Elves with Reads with Cassara, and I'm just not in the headspace for it. I think Sword of Destiny kind of left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I had a hard time trudging through that book. I eventually switched to the audiobook, and even with the audiobook, it was trying for me. So I think I'm holding off on that. I let her know that I just wasn't in the right headspace. I read the first 2 chapters, which is the first 100 pages of the book, and I just didn't remember anything that I had read. Nothing was processing or sticking with me, and it just wasn't working, and I didn't want to force myself to read it because I'm fighting a really hard reading slump. I feel like I've been in a reading slump for a couple months, and this month, I've read the most books so far that I've read since July. A lot to say that I am not reading Blood of Elves anymore, for now. But I am working on the 10,000 Doors of January. I'm halfway through this. They say that this is a portal fantasy, and for some reason I had it pictured in my mind as kind of like a Narnia, where the main character goes to stay with this person who's supposed to be like her guardian, like an older gentleman, and she finds the 10,000 doors and travels through them. That's not the case with this book.
"2,000 years later."
This book follows January, and she lives with, he's kind of like her foster dad. He took her and her father in when she was a baby and employed him to travel the world to find treasures for him because he like collects treasures. And so her biological father is always gone, and she lives with Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke has sort of turned her into like the perfect mousy girl because of his expectations and what he wants from her. He doesn't want a rambunctious child. He wants someone who is like a living embodiment of his treasure collection. So he uses her and like puts her on display and tells different stories about where he got her. It's all very weird. The story takes place in it's hard because it jumps around. So it starts in 1901. There's a parallel story going on that takes place in, I think it starts in the 1860s and then jumps to the 1890s. And then her story then gets fast forwarded to 1911 in America. So the fact that she is not white and she lives with a rich white man, you definitely see the privilege and the way that America was set up for other rich white men. Alex E. Harrow, it says in the biography section, is a former historian, and you definitely get that feel when you read this. Again, I'm only halfway through, but it feels like I'm reading a biography for school, or one of like a memoir that I've had to read for school, because it's written that way, which I absolutely love. It's very lyrical writing. I find myself comparing the lyrical style of the writing to Strange the Dreamer, whereas Strange the Dreamer I felt fell short for me. This doesn't. I'm already obsessed with the story. But again, I'm only halfway through. I'm reading this with Kira from the book Bella and Gabby from Books and Other Nerd Things, and I'm very excited to be buddy reading it with them. But I will keep you updated because my goal is to finish this in the next 2 days. I think Gabby already finished, and so I want to finish, yeah, in the next 2 days because I have some other reads I need to do this week, or get to this week, not do. I have some other reads I need to get to this week. Also, I am buddy reading The Beautiful by Renee Audier with Casey from Casey Can Read. I am so excited for this. So I don't talk a lot about vampires and paranormal books, but I don't think many people don't love a good vampire story. This book takes place in New Orleans in the 1800s, and I know there's vampires, and that's all I need to know. Casey and I are starting this on Friday, and we are reading it through Halloween, so I am very excited. It gives us almost a week to read it, and I think that's perfect, because while she's, I think, 400 and something pages, a week to read a YA novel is pretty good. But I will keep you posted on this. I will be starting this on Friday. If I have enough time, I really want to finish House of Salt and Sorrow. I've read a couple chapters here and there. I think I'm on like page 85, and it's really starting to get good. A lot of people have talked about how it's spooky, and I didn't understand how it could be spooky, but now I do. It's definitely like creepy and spooky in the best ways, because I'm someone who's prone to nightmares and getting scared way too easily, and I haven't gotten scared yet. It's just kind of sucked me in. This is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. The sisters have been killed off one by one. There's only 7 sisters left, and this is told from Annalee's point of view. She is now the second oldest sister, but the latest sister's death sparked something in Annalee, and she thinks that it may not have been an accident or the curse, and she thinks that her sister was murdered, and so she starts trying to find out what's really happening. There may be more plaguing her family than any of them thought, but that's about it for now. I, knowing my luck, will not be checking in again today. That normally is what happens Tuesday, so if I check in, I'll see you later today. If not, I will see you tomorrow morning, and hope your day is awesome. So bye. We have hit that time of the year in the Pacific Northwest where even in the mornings I have to have a light on, so I'm trying to like hide from the glare, but it's cloudy and rainy and all that jazz. That is not why you tuned in. I am reading the 10,000 Doors of January. Yesterday I only got about 50 pages further than I was. This isn't a bingeable book. It is a book that you kind of take slowly. I feel like if I read it for too long, then I hit a point where I start getting bored. And it has nothing to do with the book being bad or anything. I'm still obsessed with the story. It's just, it's so lyrical that not a lot happens back to back. And so I find that I'll hit points where I'm like, okay, this needs to speed up, and then I have to put the book down and walk away. When I'm not reading this book, all I can think about is this book. That's it. So each door represents kind of like a crack or fracture in our world that leads to another world. And the reason why it's called the 10,000 doors is because in one of these worlds, 10,000 means infinity. It's the highest number that this world has come up with. So it's called the 10,000 Doors of January, meaning the endless worlds of January. My goal is to finish it today. I will be checking in with you later. That's it. I don't have anything else. I don't have any unboxings or books or anything. So have fun with this reading vlog, and I'll check in with you later. Bye. I just finished, and I love this book. I finished the 10,000 Doors of January. I think I blubbered for about 10 seconds. As I checked in, I just couldn't gather my thoughts. But I finished it last night, like late last night. There were a couple things that I think could be problematic. I think the pacing for some people, it would be problematic because it primarily takes place in America in the early 20th century. Like I said, the first chapter takes place in 1901. There's an underlying discussion of race, and I think that the way that some people are described could be problematic for some. I don't think, and the author's intent wasn't to use a book set in the early 1900s to be derogatory or insulting. I think that as an ex-historian, they did justice to how society was at that time. And let's be real, not much has changed. Coming from a white woman, I can't really speak to if the way that people are described in this book is okay or not. But I do think that that could bring about some problems. One of the biggest reasons is the main character, January, is described as an in-between, and I get why. There's a connection to in-between in her identity and just her entire life. When you find out everything, there's kind of that connection throughout her life, more so than just her skin color. Another issue that I think some people could find with it is not necessarily the ending as a whole, but the final scene between her and the villain was a little monologue-y and was drawn out way too long. It kind of reminded me of in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when Tom Riddle, by the way, if you don't know the ending of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, jump ahead because of spoilers. But anyway, when Tom Riddle is like monologuing to Harry and he's like, "Anne, I'm gonna drain the life from Jenny, so I'm just gonna stand here while you do whatever you need to do." It wasn't quite to that extent. And that's just me being nitpicky. That I just am obsessed with this book. I couldn't stop thinking about it when I wasn't reading it. When I was reading it, it feels like I'm reading the story of a real person. And I think that's just a testament to Alex E. Harrow's writing. It's just so stunning. I don't think this book is for everyone. I loved it. I think it's one of my favorite books of the year. I just loved it that much. So yes, I gave it 5 stars, but in my mind, it's 10,000 stars. I will be picking up The Beautiful, A Vampire Story. I'm very, very excited. Let's see how many times I can say excited. And Casey and I have been talking about it every day, basically. I'm hoping it lives up to some hype. I'm hoping I'm not in the camp that I think it's boring, not bored, or I'm bored. My genuine hope is that I just enjoy it. It's vampires. I need to go throw on some makeup and get ready. We are taking Nevi to the pumpkin patch and the corn maze. I will say, you'll notice Potter and Weasley don't go on a lot of adventures with us. They are not good in public dogs. Potter is getting better. She's been in so much training, but she's definitely getting better. She's just not a good dog to take out in public. And Weasley's the same way. Luna, we usually take Luna and Neville with us if we're doing anything that's dog friendly. Luna, though, can bark for attention. She can get a little barky. So we're only taking Nev because we don't know what to expect. We don't know if there's going to be other dogs there, and I don't want any dog drama. And Nevi is the best behaved dog. He's the sweetest. He doesn't really do a lot of barking for attention. He only barks when he plays. As far as in public goes, at home he barks for attention. And he loves children, and I know that there's going to be kids there. So cut to us getting lost in the corn maze.
Where's the entrance on here though?
We're just going in, baby, and we're just doing this.
Okay.
We're not gonna try and win anything. Yeah.
So I am about 85 pages into The Beautiful by Renee Audier, a dark story about vampires set in the 1800s, 1700s, 1800s, 1800s in New Orleans. It follows a girl named Celine who has kind of a dark past and moved to New Orleans from Paris and gets caught up in a darker story with a potential like inhuman or human serial killer. Here's the thing with a vampire story. Like vampire stories, I always call them like trashy vampire stories, and not in like a bad way, not anything against that. I love a good vampire story. How many times can I say that? So it's not the greatest piece of literature ever written, but Renee Audier is a great writer and very atmospheric in a way that sucks you in and makes you feel like you're a part of the story. So am I sucked in already? Absolutely. Do I know that I'm probably going to hate myself for loving this story? Absolutely. That's just how it is. So I just wanted to jump on and say that that's what I'm currently reading. Hello, it's my birthday, hence the headband that Megs is making me wear. I wanted to do a check-in. This will probably be my last check-in for this reading vlog. I just won't be able to the next couple days. So this is probably going to be the final one for this one. I am on like page 200-ish for The Beautiful, and I love it. It definitely has like the insta-love feel. It has, I mean, it's like a better historical fiction Twilight in a way. So Renee Audier, I think I said it before, like in a check-in, that the writing style just like transports you into this dark underbelly of New Orleans. But what I like about it is that it addresses sexism and racism. It's not done in a way that leaves, for me, leaves the reader feeling cringy or wondering if it's problematic because of how it's written. Instead, it's written in a way that's like, yes, that was very much an issue of the time, still an issue of our time. If you're not into vampire or paranormal stories, you're not going to be into this. But I'm asking for some recommendations because I really want to read a story that's written from like the vampire's point of view, and I would love it if it was like a female vampire's point of view. Please send help, please. I've heard a lot of people that didn't like this book say that not much happens, but I'm on page 200 and a lot's happened. Like by page 100, there's already been 2 murders. So and like, I'm not talking like, oh, they died, like throats getting ripped out. I don't understand why that's being said. It is very, it's more character driven, yes, but I've never really liked atmospheric books, but I love this one. I just love how dark it feels. I love when they describe Celine being attracted to this darkness, like a monster under her skin, or like that kind of way. I love the way I can picture what's going on. Also to address like feminist issues or just how females were supposed to act in society at that time. On page 214, Celine and another girl are talking, and Celine says, "Tell me, Odette, why must we wear corsets even while we eat?" And then Odette responds, "Because men enjoy keeping us in cages at every waking hour. That way we're contained. They're afraid of what would happen if we were free." That's why I'm loving this book. Those kinds of statements matter, and those kinds of statements give a whole new depth to these kind of stories. I'm not quite halfway through. I think on Goodreads it says I'm like 40% of the way done, but I'm not going to be able to pick it up until like Tuesday. So that's it for this wrap up for this for now. I'm loving it. I also wanted to share a little bit of my birthday book haul for you. I only have 4 books. I did that, but that's 8. I only have 4 books. I, surprisingly, since I never wear it in my vlogs, I love makeup. It's been a passion of mine for 15 years. For a couple years, I actually did makeup professionally. That's a whole nother story. So for most of the things I got for my birthday from people had to do with makeup, and that just makes me happy. So I'm not sure if you really care to know about that, but I will share the books that I got. So the first one is The Trials of Apollo, Book 4, The Tyrant's Tomb by Rick Riordan. It's tradition. His latest book every year usually comes out in October, and Meg's, since I've known her, which has been like 8 years now, has picked up the latest Rick Riordan book for me. It's just kind of like our thing, so it's very sweet. I love her. Anyway, that's the first story. She also surprised me with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the illustrated edition. This is my favorite Harry Potter book of all of them. It has been since I first read it when I was like 12 years old. Obsessed. And for some reason, I didn't have the illustrated edition. I'm not sure why. I have the first two, but I never had this one. And then the fourth one was just released, so I asked for the fourth one for Christmas, but this is heavier than I want it to be holding it. I've been asking for this forever. I just haven't wanted to spend my own money to get it. The next book I got is The Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. This is the first book. I think it's an adult fantasy series. It follows 4 main characters, and all I know is that they have like magical animal companions that battle, and so it's compared to like Pokemon-esque and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So sign me up. Yes, I love cast in books. I love Pokemon. Who doesn't? So very, very excited to pick this up. Probably will be sometime in November. And then I also got Cursed by Thomas Wheeler and then illustrated by Frank Miller. Apparently this is going to be a Netflix show. This is taking the idea, what if Arthur wasn't given Excalibur, but instead Nimue was, or the Lady of the Lake was given it. So instead of a kingdom, we have a queendom. So I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 bazillion times. Anything that has to do with the Arthurian legend, I will pick up and I will give a chance. This has been one of my most anticipated releases of the year because it's a take on the Arthurian legend. So I can't wait to pick this one up. I will probably pick this one up sometime in the next few weeks. But that's it for the books that I got for my birthday and this week's vlog. I will see you next week. I hope that the rest of your weekend is wonderful. And as always, remember to be nice to yourself and be kind to others. Bye!